Well, I guess this is a good time as any to make a video. I'm currently broke down on the side of the road. Said tire in view, decided it didn't want to go anymore. This is a Culte mulcher that I'm borrowing off of actually the guy I bought the farm off of. Try to get my field smoothed up. The tractor is running great. I actually took it over there yesterday, day before yesterday. And the problem is there's a pin for the cylinder, and I couldn't get that thing to lift up high enough to where I felt safe going down the road. Not a big deal. It was kind of raining yesterday. Today it's nice, so I thought, well, I'll go over there and get it now. Beat the pin out, moved slots, got it to where it'll lift up good. And, well, went down the road, and that one tire was just wobbling. You could tell it slipped the belt. And no big deal. Waving at another farmer going by. Surprisingly, no one stopped, but they could probably see that I have my phone in my hand, and it's 2024. You know, we're not Morse coding, around to try to communicate. But like I said, got it up to where I felt comfortable, and it was just the tires wobbling, and I didn't figure it would make it. And of course, me being me, I was running wide open. This tractor will do about 20 miles an hour on the 34s behind me, 34-inch rim. I think they're 15.5s. Oh no, they're 16.9s, a little wider. I said 15.5 and I was wondering. It's like, huh. But the 38-inch tire or rim tractors, they'll fly. Like my other 706 will do 35 miles an hour, and that's moving. I don't know if I would want to go 35 on a tricycle tractor. I guess it's no bouncier than anything else. But, yeah, my wife happened to be, I turned left at an intersection about a mile up the road, and she went straight because that's where Little Caesars was. Of course, I'm going 20 miles an hour. It didn't take too long to get a mile down the road and have a flat. Luckily enough, she's pulling up now. I called the Little Caesars and said, hey, is there a redhead with 3 children there? And sure enough, she's like, well, they went through the drive-thru. They were sitting outside waiting for their food. And I said, well, tell her to take the bypass on the way home because I know she doesn't have her phone with her. Anyways, we'll see you in a minute, I guess. We'll do something with this tire. Alright, well the time has come to address the planter. Sorry, bean drill. It's an 8350, basically the same thing as an 8300, but it's got fertilizer boxes. We'll get you up close, show you what I got going on. Might not be a long video, might be forever, who knows. So this is what we got going on. Springs and cans of WD and PB and flashlights. Well, that was from last night. A couple beer cans laying over there from last night too. But what I had going on was these are the openers I'm using. This drill is set up on 15s instead of 7.5, or 14s or 16s instead of 8. Basically, pretty much 15-inch rows. So the springs that were on the usable rows looked like that. Broken. All of them. All except for one. This guy, which I actually will be forced to reuse, they're all broken. So, anyways, my thought is, and if you can imagine, if you look, these rows are offset, further back, closer, closer, further back, closer, like that. I am using all of the closer ones, which use a shorter spring than the one set further back. What I have done is taken all of these long springs and put them on the short spring position. Why would you do that? Well, because I'm not buying new springs. A, I don't have time. B, it's an expense that I don't want to have. C, I don't even have time to look the parts up because it's Sunday and I'm wanting to plant Tuesday. But my thought is this long spring, if it's old and fatigued, crunched like that, put in a shorter place, would probably be just as good as having a new short spring. So we went through and basically you place a jack here, jack it up, it pushes the rod out, you take the pin out, do that on 2 rows, lift the frame up, and that'll get the rods, this part will raise, the rod will stay, drop. Switch the springs. Those dead rows, I'm not putting a spring in because the only thing I need them to do is lift when I turn. I don't care if they're kind of dragging. There won't be any pressure. If nothing else, it may help bust up some clods I got out there or something. And what that'll do is put all of the down pressure on the rows I'm using. See, like these 2 rows, they're not going to be pushing down on the ground. They're just going to be riding, and these ones will be pushing. So, I don't know, just imagine like the bed of nails thing. If you have a whole bunch of nails in a board, you can lay on it. If you have 1 nail on a board and you lay on it, you're getting stabbed. That's the idea. If you could just think of fewer points of contact for the same amount of weight, and I think I'll get my seed in the ground a little better. Other things we have to address, I very, very poorly and very fastly as I possibly could addressed last year, because last year when I was planting, this hitch broke. Some of these bolts broke. You can obviously see a couple new ones. I just slapped some sloppiness on there. This side gets really ugly, but I was literally like just burning it in, trying to do something, and it held. Obviously, these are not my welds right here. That's yucky. Professional. But we don't claim to be professionals around here. Also, maybe zoom in. Try to. Hello, come on. Usually it's a focusing issue. Yeah, there's some sloppiness right there. And I also have a crack right here that I have to do. So, my guess is that this crack is new. New meaning it's after the welded up main hitch and that piece over there. Because it was not like that. Where I welded over on that other bar you see kind of going diagonal, it was cracked there. So I'm basically going to not grind off my welds, but I'm going to clean everything up, and I'm going to weld that whole seam on both sides of the hitch, clean everything up and weld both sides of the bar there, here obviously, and back here to make sure that it's good. Now, I did not even clean anything. I literally pulled up, plugged a welder into that outlet, and started Zeusing it with the Flux Core Harbor Freight junk welder. I mean, they do good, but you just, might not be the best thing. But if you know how to weld, know how to get your temperatures right, and get proper penetration, really doesn't matter what they look like on top. And I guess maybe a proof to that, if no one knows, like drag racing, obviously it's a farming channel, but I'm a car guy. Drag racing, welding a roll cage in a car. You are absolutely not allowed to grind on the welds on a roll cage. Doesn't matter how they look. I'm sure they'll judge them, whatever. But if you grind on a roll cage in a car, they will not certify it because, well, I mean, maybe grinding it hides some of the defects. You wouldn't want to see bubbles or things like that. Splatter's okay. You don't want to see pits when you're welding. And also on bare metal, you can tell penetration somewhat by the heat transfer and discoloring, like bluing, whatever. But let me go find a tripod, I guess, and get set up. I'm at least going to show you me grinding. It might not be right now. It might be like an hour from now. I have no idea. It might be after dark. But we'll get after it anyway.
It worked?
It worked.
All right.
Alright, so if you can hear me, we've been planting all day right in the sky you see behind me. Above me, behind me in the picture. And I have a flat tire. This drill has some plugs in it. Put like 3 plugs, one in the sidewall. And it's a drive tire, so the plugs get pulled out. It happens. But it's probably like 7 o'clock. I really wanted to cultivate back this tonight. Probably still will if the rain holds off. We're not quite back to making dust. The dirt isn't really sticking to the tires. So I'm going with it, and we'll see where it takes us. It's just been a hectic day. Up till about, I think we left the shop at 1:38 last night. Found a problem with one of the seed cups on the drill. It has a little plate that it's kind of like a seal, but it's a seal and like a polymer bearing all at the same time. Yeah, had to put some screws in that and whatever, and then calibrate the drill. No big deal. We're planting a Stein 4.1 on the back half of the farm. I think it's May 22nd. Fleming County, Kentucky. If anybody wants to look up and see if my soybean maturity group is correct, I think it is. The rest of the farm is going to be planted with the Stein 3.7 group maturity, which is what I used when we lived in Ohio. But anyways, you probably can't hear me worth a crap any. So maybe I'll try to get some shots later, or maybe have my wife take some footage of me going back and forth. I don't know. That might not happen because she has all the kids in the car. But right now, they just brought me back to the tractor because we figured it was dry enough. And she's going to go get me the last 2 remaining bags of seed, so I can just go ahead and put them in. And this is how much seed is left. I'd say that's pretty even. And we didn't run out.